Each year, the Jews celebrate the Feast of the Passover, when they commemorate their rescue from slavery in Egypt back in the time of Moses. And it was on the eve of Jesus' death that he sat down to eat the Passover meal with his disciples. We call it the Last Supper. Partway through the meal, Jesus took a piece of bread, gave thanks, and then broke it into pieces and passed it round his disciples, saying, "This is my body, which is broken for you. Do this in remembrance of me." Then he took a cup of wine and passed it round them all and said, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is shed for you." The bread represented his body, which was about to suffer terrible things and be broken on the cross. The red wine represented his blood, which would flow from his wounds. His disciples had no idea what the next few hours would bring, and they must have wondered what Jesus meant by all this. But he himself knew. The cross was no surprise to him. He was not caught out. His life was not taken by force. He laid it down willingly. If you knew that a gang of violent people was coming after you to kill you, you would probably make your getaway fast. But Jesus didn't run away. He faced what was coming. Dying was what he had come to do. He knew it would be an extremely difficult ordeal to go through, more than any of us could imagine. This is because he would not just have to suffer physically, as awful as that would be, but he was going to bear God's judgment for the sins of his people. He even prayed after this meal that if it was possible, there might be another way. But it had to be. And Jesus did not shrink back or flee in terror. He was willing to accept it and face the unimaginable horror of the cross. But why? He says to his disciples, "I'm doing this for you. This is my body, which is broken for you. This is my blood, which is shed for you." It was that their sins might be forgiven and they might have peace with God. This was the institution of the communion service. And for 2,000 years, Christians have been celebrating it, knowing that Jesus gave himself for them as well. They are among the you for whom his body was broken and his blood was shed. We marvel at this great love of Christ which he has for us and led him to give himself voluntarily for us. But what about you? Have you come to know this Jesus? Have you experienced this love? If not, you needn't be left out. He died for all who would receive him. You too can be saved through his sacrifice and find forgiveness through his blood. Then you will be able to say with the Apostle Paul, "The Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me."